What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be doing a video on my 2014 Chevrolet Corvette. It is a Procharged and fully built car. It's a C51 package. It's a very, very quick car. I've had the car for about a year now, and I knew that I was wanting a Corvette. So I went ahead and I bought the front splitter, I bought the side skirts, I bought the rear diffusers, I bought the new spoiler. I got the tint put all the way around it, including on the front windshield. I got 32% on the front windshield. So having that done helps out tremendously. I got the eyebrows put on. I've got LED side markers all the way around. And I did the Morimoto Lamborghini style taillights, which is the star of today's show. This is what everything boils back down to, is them. So what I did was I bought the car. Me and my wife, we flew to Atlanta, got the car, and drove it back. And basically that day, I had the car up on jacks, and I had everything put on by the next day. And by about day 5, I started having issues. I turned on my right turn signal, and it would flash 2-3 times, and then it would start hyper flashing like there was less resistance in the system, which technically there is because you're going from halogen to LED. So what I did to counteract that is I bought a 7.5 ohm resistor. That's what everybody said to get, even though the website that I bought this from said that it had all that built in. I just thought maybe this was an abnormality, maybe it was just the car. So I went ahead and got that. I didn't put it on yet, because in order to put it on, I had to take the whole bumper off, and I did not want to do that. So by about day 10 to day 15, I started noticing that the rear camera would not come on sometimes when I'd put it in reverse. Say I'd put it in reverse, it would come on, and then I could drive, have to put it in reverse again, and then it wouldn't come on. It would just say error, or service the rear tail light, or the rear camera. And even those two things, that wasn't enough to make me want to go through and try and find the problem, because it wasn't worth the time, to be honest, because pulling that bumper is a pain in the butt, especially for one person. So I rode it like that for about a month and a half, and then the big problem started. Every now and then I'd come outside, and the trunk would be randomly popped. It's like I hit the button. It's like I could just randomly hit the button for the trunk to pop, and it'd be just like that. I'd come out, it'd be cracked. So I'd go over there and I would just shut it. I could go inside, come back out, an hour and a half, it'd be shut, or I could come out and it'd be open. It was kind of a hit or miss thing. A lot of times though, it was open. So that become to be a pretty big problem. So much that it killed my battery one night. I didn't drive the car for about 2 weeks, and it would just constantly be popping. And I guess even after it's already popped, it's still actuating, and didn't know why at the time. So it just kept doing it so much that it finally just killed my battery. And I didn't find this out until I got in it one day to go to work, and got in it, tried to crank it up, deader than crap. So I jumped it off, just chalked it up to being a weak battery, and just not driving it for 2 weeks, it died. So jump it off, take it to work, and on the way to work I had to stop and get fuel, turned it off, and it wouldn't crank back up when I got back in it. I could see the backlight on the heads-up display, or the speedometer. I could see the backlight come on, but it wouldn't show any of the gauges, it wouldn't show Corvette, it wouldn't show nothing. It just nothing. So I said, well, maybe it's my key fob battery that's dead. So I went in the gas station and I asked them if they had a 3032 battery, and they didn't have one. So I took it out and I put it between my tongue and my lip, and it still had a good kick. So it was still a good battery. So I put it back together, locked it, unlocked it, it worked fine. So I said that I'm just going to take my negative battery cable off and just let it sit for 5-10 minutes. So I did that and connected it. Everything started working again. I was able to crank up, took it to work. That night I checked on it 2 or 3 times, and out of the 2 or 3 times it was popped, one time it wasn't. So I get it back home, park it again. I get on forums. I'm researching, trying my best. I get my wife to research, but she is a ridiculously good researcher, and she couldn't find anything. Everything they were saying was, you hit the button in your pocket, or you hit it on the dash with your knee when you were getting out, or something, which is kind of hard to do when you're not even in the car, right? For 2 weeks, I had to close the thing like 10 times. Well, one of the things they were saying was it was a body control module, and the body control module they were referring to was one that's in the passenger side floorboard up under the dash. So I crawl in there. First I disconnect my battery, crawl in there, take it apart, pull it out, get the part number off, and I start calling part stores within like a 50-60 mile radius around me, and nobody had one in stock. They could all get one, and it would take about a week, but they could get one. And I finally, I'm throwing parts at this thing, trying to fix it, it's being a parts changer. And I was going to do it. Went ahead and called the one closest to me and said, hey, go ahead and order this part for me because I'm going to need it. And they said, okay, it's going to be about a week. So I put everything back together, and I ride it for 3-4 days, and it's just getting on my nerves because I can't go nowhere without the damn thing popping. And I finally said, you know what? I'm just going to get in this car, and I'm going to try everything I can think of, everything to try and to recreate it. That way I can show somebody, what it's doing. And I finally figured out what it was, and I'm going to insert the video right now. Well, I just figured out how to get the trunk to pop consistently. Alright, see it's closed. All I'm going to do is turn the lights on and then turn them back off. You can hear the motor actuate every time I turn them on and off. Alright, you can see that when you turn the lights on and then you turn them back off, it popped. It popped the thing every single time like clockwork. So I said, okay, that's going to have to be something in the back bumper. Something in there is causing that. I went around to open the trunk because it was closed, and then I can't get the thing open because the button's not working. So I'm mashing it and nothing is working. So I said, that's going to be my problem. The current going to that, it's something's wrong, and it's acting funky. It's causing it to act up. So I bought a new switch. Tested the continuity on it. It was good. So good deal. I know it works. I'm not going to tear this thing apart for nothing. So I took it apart. I just kind of popped it back where I could get in and take the switch out. I test that switch, and it tested good. So now I'm about ready to burn the car. I'm sick of it. I'm fed up. Can't figure this thing out. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and check everything in here while I can. That way I can go ahead and eliminate it. And as soon as I pull the main wire harness apart, which there's two connectors, two big connectors. They're like 8 to 10, 12 pin connectors. Pull them apart, and the most amount of water you can think of that would be in that thing, there was more. There was more than you can imagine. It was like taking a Coke lid, like a 20-ounce Coke bottle, filling it full of water, and putting like 3 or 4 capfuls in that thing, in both of them. I said, there's my problem. It's nothing else. I know for sure, 100%, that's my problem. So I pull the car over here to this bay, and I take my air hose, and I blow it out. I get it dry as the desert. I mean dry. Then I take my white lithium grease, coat the male and female side of the connector. That way, if any water does happen to get back in there, that it's not going to, it won't be able to get in there. Yeah, I'm going to make it where it can't get in there. So then I do something totally unconventional. I take mechanics latex gloves. I cut the pinky and the ring finger out of it to where it's one hole. It's about that big. Stretch it, and I stretch it over the connector, and then I connect it, and then I stretch the whole thing over both sides, and then I zip tie both sides. That way no water can get in there. I do it on both. And even on the Morimoto style taillights, they even have a spare connector that's just hanging, that if you connect it to itself, it makes all 3 lights flash as one. or you can disconnect it and they flash sequentially. So I want them to flash sequentially because I love that look. That looks very neat. So I even wrapped them in the glove fingers that I cut out, and I zip tied them. So there was no way for water to get in there. As soon as I did that, every problem went away. I mean, no issues. And then I'll tell you why I wanted to wrap them. Because the way that the connectors are, you got your male, which is like a male, and then you had the female side. Well, the female, imagine it as a U. It's facing up like this. So as the water runs off this hatch, it goes down into this track. Okay, we got a drain right there, and we have a drain the same place on the other side. So it runs down into there, hits the tail light, runs down the tail light, and then hits the connector, which is right here and right here on both sides. So you can see that it drains down. It's like a U, right? So it was draining directly into the connector. Now, that could have been the way that I installed it originally, or it could have happened from the factory. I don't know. So if anybody else is having an issue like this, it's probably going to be water. Water can do some crazy things that it'll make you mad because you can't find it. I could have took this to the shop and they could have worked on this thing for 10, 12 hours and not found that problem because they didn't know that I did all this work. So they wouldn't know to look right there. They would have changed out the body control module. They would have been changing relays. They would have been changing all kinds of stuff. Main computers. And that probably would have cost me $3,000, $4,000 for them to be like, well, we still can't fix it. We don't know what it is. So by me just diving in and just testing everything, because I was about to start tracing wires because I thought something had done grounded. But I was able to find it, luckily, and not have to dive in. So I hope that if anybody else is having this issue, that this helps out. If it does, please consider giving me a like. Give me a thumbs up. This is my first video that I'm doing on this channel. I'm going to be making more content with the car. I'm going to be making content with my 2500 HD over there. I'm going to be making content with a boat. And then I got my four-wheeler project inside that shop there that I'll show you right now. All right. We're here in my shop now, finally, and this is it. This is a 2006 Raptor 350 with a 2007 Suzuki GSXR 750 motor in it. It is a 170 horsepower fuel-injected monstrosity for this size. You can just see the amount of work I had to do to this thing. I had to completely build the upper frame. I had to build the lower frame, skid plate. I had to do a lot of stuff. I incorporated a lot of things from the motorcycle, like twist grip. That's not mounted. I still got a lot of work to do this thing. I've been working on it for about 6 months, and I've lost interest. I hadn't touched it in about 3 months. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to come with that. I got the progression videos on my TikTok. I will try to make a regular YouTube video. It might not flow very well just because I did do it for TikTok and it doesn't really flow. But I'll try to get a video up on here, so if you want to see more of that, give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a follow. And then, like I said, we got my boat here. We do some offshore stuff. We go to the bay, we go to the lake. We do a lot of metal detecting, or my wife does metal detecting on her channel. So if you want to go check out her channel, I'll tag it below. So yeah, if you just want to be here for a good time, follow along as we do crazy stuff. I'm going to do some cool stuff with that car. I'm going to do a series where I race the truck versus the Jeep. Then the winner of those is going to race the car. Now, we all know who's going to win. But I want to see how big of a difference there is as far as speed-wise. Because the Jeep, 3.7 liter, 3.6, 3.7, I think it's 3.7 liter. It's, everybody says, yeah, my car's quick for what it is, but that's a decently quick car. And then we got my diesel here. It's tuned, it's deleted, 5-inch exhaust all the way back. It is lifted with 37s, so that takes away a lot, but that's a somewhat quick truck. I got the DSP5 switch, DPS, maybe. Anyway, it's tuned by Corey Willis. So it's it's got some get up and go, but that's a 600 horsepower Z51 package car, Procharged, fully built, and it's very quick. We got some things we're going to be doing to it here soon. Headers, X-pipe, new pulley, smaller pulley, belt, LT4 head or LT4 injectors and fuel pump, and that car is going to be easily mid 800 horsepower to the wheels. So that's going to be a monstrosity as soon as I get it done. So if you want to follow some cool content, again, follow me. Click that like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends, or give me the thumbs down. Give me some tips on what I can do to improve on my delivery of content. If you want less rambling, let me know. But anyways, see you tomorrow. Peace.